Okay, welcome everyone to my Making Events Easy conversation in September. And this month we are joined by Chris Lynch from Brand Enable. If you're watching this video later on, welcome. And if you're here live, please say hello and pop any questions you have on the page and we will answer them as we go along. Chris runs Brand Enable, which is a company specialising in film production and live streaming. And I know your business has been on the go now, Chris, for about 16 years. Is that right?
Well, no, I've been in business for 16 years, touching 17 now. But Brand Enable essentially is a fairly new start company in the last couple of years, and we've sort of been going from strength to strength. Really, our niche is obviously the online space and doing everything from short form video. So it's a lot of video virals, promotional content, social media, films, YouTube ads, and then the live streaming. And also we are commercial drone operators as well. So that's something we integrate into our film work. So yeah, but it's all good. I mean, it's such a fast paced sort of area. Yourself, like online is just constantly changing, and various different trends are happening all the time, whether you have new platforms like TikTok emerging or just various different marketing trends and things that you have to really keep your finger constantly on the pulse of. So it's it's great, and it really does lend an opportunity to be more creative, and you can go outside of the boundaries of those sort of, I guess, the general restrictions that you would have with conventional broadcast media. So it just allows you to be a bit more flexible. But it's I'm really loving it so far.
Excellent. And the reason that I asked you to come on today really was because a lot of my client, a lot of my work has been with clients who are delivering face-to-face events or coaching or training, whatever that happens to be. And obviously with the whole lockdown restriction, suddenly we were forced into the situation that, either you couldn't deliver anything at all or you had to go online. The only way to survive was going online. And fortunately, I've seen a lot of people doing that. But I know that you have developed sort of new technology to help people move events and create events online since lockdown has happened. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So this Prostream, our platform, really started life about 18 months ago, and I'd mentioned to you before when we were chatting, it has taken for COVID to happen for people to really start to understand the technology and buy into it. And and I think one of the big problems that we have here in Northern Ireland is that we are slightly behind the times, because if you look at London, for instance, you'll find that ad agencies will be embarking on more experiential types of campaigns and experimental types of media, and we always have like sort of a bit of a lag anyway in terms of embracing new technology and new things. So definitely, if I found that it was a struggle in the early sort of stages, pitching to clients. But now, obviously, given lockdown and everyone's been on Zoom calls, as you say, things have been very different, and the big part for us is that, we're now in a position to be able to help so many different businesses that haven't been able to stage physical events, or they've got an idea for something, but they just haven't been able to put it together. So our platform really, it goes over and above a standard sort of live streaming concept. And obviously, live streaming, for many of us, will have seen it. If we're on Facebook, for instance, you get a little notification and you'll see a video, whether it's a friend or family member that's gone live, or it's a page that you follow. So we're all accustomed to the basic concept, but where we have developed our own platform, we've looked more at the sort of online TV or a TV broadcast model. So we're able to drop in pre-prepared video content. We can have all your graphics and assets in there. So for instance, if we've got a keynote speaker coming in, we'll have what's called a lower third. So down at the bottom part of the screen, a little bit of animation with their title and name will come out and then disappear again. We can drop in, as I said, like pre-prepared videos, so we can drop in a TV commercial. So if we were doing, for instance, a live stream down at for a car launch, we could have the TV commercial for that car that's dropped in. Anything, there's a range of different things that we've done to really enhance this platform. And one of the big things as well, I guess, is that we have the capability to broadcast to multiple destinations at once. Yes. So it gives you the opportunity from a marketing standpoint, it gives you an opportunity to reach so many more people, because you're not just talking about Facebook, you can get out to YouTube and other destinations at once, really extending your reach. And, for any brand, that really does immediately present an exciting proposition. And then from the actual production side of things, so we have our own professional camera equipment and lighting and sound, so we can come in and completely create a virtual studio. And then for larger scale events, we're actually working with a local company called Triple Vision Productions. And Triple Vision have been, they're widely known in the broadcast arena. They've done a lot of TV work, TV series such as With This Ring and the Last Showman, which was on BBC One recently, and lots of really great stuff. But bringing in their expertise has been a huge benefit for us, because we not only can tap into their resource by way of additional camera operators and hardware, but for larger scale events, it's that added, I guess, the added support. So, if we do need someone to come in and help direct and co-produce with us, it gives us that sort of comfort blanket, knowing that we have, a great set of people there that we can rely on and trust. And it just adds really another level of professionalism to what we can offer clients. And, that isn't going to be the case for everything. So if we're doing a small vlog, for instance, or a small intimate meeting for a client, that maybe not necessary, but it's really when we want to step things up to the larger format, the likes of conferences and award ceremonies and bits and pieces, then it really becomes invaluable.
Yes, and I think as well, and I see that a lot since the whole sort of lockdown restrictions as well, that a lot of small business owners in Northern Ireland and elsewhere as well are really collaborating with each other, because we know there's only so much we can do by ourselves, and I think everybody is really reaching out and helping to support each other a lot, which is very important as well at the moment.
Absolutely. There have been loads of collaborations when you have to look at some of the Facebook pages and LinkedIn and things like that, and it's great to see, especially food producers and hospitality. I've seen a lot happening there, but I think it's just the times that are in it. You need to diversify. You need to try and find out how to make things work and create your own sort of business hacks, as it is, to put your business onto like a new path that is not only sustainable but viable to help you continue to grow.
Yes, because I think a lot of people, like what you were saying about your Prostream equipment as well, that you had started, looking and developing that before COVID, was announced. And I think actually with the whole pandemic and the lockdown, that people actually have had the time to think, okay, I've had this project sitting in the back burner and not really working, I'm not advancing it as much as I'd like to. And then COVID happened. We were like, okay, well now we have to make this happen, to survive, which I think, in a way that has been the good thing, that I have seen a lot of people creating online events for events that you really wouldn't have thought in the past they could have done online. So there's been a lot of innovation sort of that way. And I know that you were helping with the Hilton. Do you want to speak a little bit about that project with the Hilton Belfast?
Yeah, so it's something we're currently exploring at the moment and developing a strategic partnership with them. Hilton have just embarked on they've just completed a £10 million refurb of their Belfast waterfront property, and one of the things we're about to do is to produce a live stream for them to showcase everything there, and that'll be broadcast not only to the Hilton Group but across the I guess the whole social media arena. Really, they've seen the opportunity that we've presented to them in that we can come in and provide live streaming for their corporate clients. And I think now in this day and age, because the fact that we can come in and create these sort of hybrid events for them that use their space, but it gives them the flexibility so that if they are limited by the numbers of delegates that they can receive and admit, then this hybrid sort of style events can still benefit them and their clients. Because, if they've got, I'll just give you an example. One of the things we're actually talking about putting together at the moment is a jobs fair, Northern Ireland's first virtual jobs fair that would take place down at the Hilton. And, for that, for instance, it's the same sort of thing where you'd have a normal jobs fair with all the traders actually being down there in the Hilton with their own stands. And we'll have a presenter that will walk through the venue, and we'll take little clips of all the traders giving their own sort of, I guess, in like an elevator pitch, which would be 30 to 60 seconds. And we'll broadcast each of those throughout the live stream. And in between that, we'll cut away to the presenter walking through, and obviously have all the sponsors lined up, and we'll siphon off people to separate Zoom rooms for one-to-ones and things like that. So this is where the technology really comes into its own, because of the added features that we can bring to the table with it. It really allows you to take that whole event into that sort of virtual world and make it happen. So, no, it's exciting for us, and I think those sorts of strategic partnerships are exactly where we want to be as a business. So it's I think there's definitely a good fit there. The Hilton have very good values as a brand, as a business, and we'll see where it goes. But it's been great. And also on the other side of things, the flip side, we're actually talking to an events company down in Armagh at the moment who are staging a performance, and they have a cast and crew of 80 who haven't been able to access the theatre and put their production on. So again, we're looking at bringing that to life in a virtual environment for them. So, look, there's so many things, and it's just a case of trying to think outside of the box about how you can apply this technology and make it work. But it's great. I mean, it's exciting times for us. Obviously, given the current obvious circumstances aside.
Yes, and what you said there about it's so hard to imagine now that we're in a position that we could have a theatre production like that is happening, and we are virtually zoomed in. It's it's just flipping. Totally how event organisers and us as the public as well are going to experiences now. We're in a totally different world.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we've suggested to make that more interactive is to take a Q&A of put together a panel. So we may have the writer, producer, and some of the cast members in a panel that the online audience can actually interact with, and that will maybe be at the start, middle, or end of the production. And that way you get the opportunity to actually have the audience engage and make them feel part of the production, and that they're there, and that sort of thing. I mean, it's trying to think creatively about those sorts of elements that can really bring live streaming into its own, instead of just having a camera that is filming an event. And that's one of the other things, just to mention. I think one of the big problems and challenges with what people have seen with live streaming is that it can be boring, and it that has been because the fact that people who are putting on these events simply are putting a camera in the corner of a room, and they're not thinking about the needs of the people online.
Yes.
And I mean, what we do when we approach any sort of project, we really get an understanding of what the client's objectives are, how we can make it exciting and interesting for the online audience. And that may be, it may be a case that we'll say, look, it's not really practical to film this entire event, but let's do some highlights. Let's focus on some parts and do maybe 4 broadcasts during the entire event that we're capturing highlights. We're getting some interviews, sound bites from different sort of key people, but they're short and sharp and engaging, exciting, and interesting, because there's nothing worse than just having a camera that is there and it's just rolling, and I think that's why now a lot of people, just generally in terms of online behavior, people will dip in and dip out of a live stream. So if something is being broadcast for a couple of hours, you'll find, I think that's a great thing, because if you want to get up and head off and make a cup of coffee or go to the bathroom, you can do that, which is great. But I think the key message, I would say, if you are attempting something yourself, if you're just doing it on a strict budget, that you're just testing the water and doing it on an iPhone or an iPad, for instance, just think about your online audience and keep it short and make sure that it's really interesting, and think about what you would want to see, instead of just trying to capture what's going on.
Yes, because I logged in this year to the Hay Festival, the Festival online, and they did like a webinar type situation, and then people could ask questions at the end as well, which was, so there was that little bit of interaction with the crowd, so it was good. I just got some comments here. Gail, who interviewed last month, said about angles. He said so many things you can use to make the event interesting, as well as editing after the event. And Eve thanks us for the great point about highlights. I love going to conferences and being able to attend only the speaker sessions I want. And I suppose that's a very good point, when you have that you can just join in when you want, or when you're free to join in.
Yeah, I think that, one of the big things that I've found as well is that a lot of event organisers won't want to stream the event to the public, because if people are buying tickets to the physical event, they won't want to give away all that content that's very valuable, unless you're actually selling separate digital tickets in a closed environment, where people can attend online exclusively. So yeah, I mean that's definitely where the highlights sort of element comes in, because this is your opportunity to build your brand, build your event for the following year, because we can actually then capture things such as, like, say for talk's sake, it's an awards event, so we can film the buzz, people arriving, drinking champagne, and then maybe some elements of the red carpet, and people coming off stage after receiving their award and getting a sound bite from them saying, "So how do you feel after just winning?" So on. So yeah, I mean, I think all that stuff is great, and especially if it's live, and this is one of the other big things about live. Facebook love live content, so their algorithms are skewed to prioritize live video content, and you'll know this from just saying again when the little notifications appear on screen. But that is another huge benefit, instead of just going in and pre-recording that content and then posting it at a later date. So that's another big reason why it's so successful from a marketing standpoint.
Totally. And funny, Eve Early, I see, is watching today, and Eve used to do courses face-to-face and then changed to online, and she's been doing some Facebook Lives recently to promote those courses. And I think she would agree with your point there that, and I say it all the time, that you're just maybe sitting scrolling on Facebook and then it's pinging up at you, such and such is live. And I remember tuning in, it was possibly one Sunday night, that it popped up that Daniel O'Donnell was live, and he had millions of people watching him. And then people were tagging, going, Daniel's on, and nowadays there's that cascading kind of effect, isn't there?
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. And when something goes viral, it's it could be great, have a massive effect. But the one thing I would always stress to a client as well is to make sure that in advance of doing your live stream, that you've got a proper marketing plan in place to ensure that you will get the visibility. And that's, so that's separate from the notion that you're selling tickets. So if you just are doing a live stream that you want everyone to sell it, you definitely look at how you can market that live stream. And if you haven't the expertise, then certainly speak to a social media expert or someone who specializes in digital advertising that can help create that online campaign so that you can get the traction you need.
And I think that's very important as well. I think if you are planning another event, that you've maybe ran an event and you're planning another one, and to be thinking when you are doing all your all of the content and the video content that you have, as you said, you've done snippets, and that you can, that can be little taster bites for the promotion of your next event as well. That's the key. The key is to plan everything out as much as you can to make your life as easy as a business owner, really, isn't it?
That's it.
To have the strategy in place.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think? I actually, it's quite interesting because I heard a radio interview during the week about hybrid events and how everything's a bit we're a bit hybrid in everything we do now, aren't we? But do you think there are events actually that don't work well online, or do you think everything can be adapted with a little bit of imagination?
I definitely would say that there are events that won't work online. Those that sort of alluded to that need to have some sort of physical presence that's, if there's a lot of interaction that is needed, it is very, very difficult to, look, it's a tough one. Obviously award ceremonies, award ceremonies is very much an experiential thing. It's about being there, the atmosphere, and I think it would be unfortunate if something has to move exclusively to online in that sort of context. I think it would only happen, obviously, given the likes of COVID, but award ceremonies for sure, I think, are best in that sort of physical, real environments, if it's possible. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are other things there that people are listening at the moment and that they think as well wouldn't be suitable. But for me, look, it's just my role has been trying to look at the opposite, look at ways that we can be creative and help benefit clients by bringing them into that sort of online space. And back on the sort of car sales side of things as well. I mean, like I just I pitched to one of the big car brands before COVID, and unfortunately it was just one of the ones that we got a knockback from because they just weren't ready. But I mean, just to give you an example of how this could work in your own business, we had suggested, for instance, that they take a special limited edition used car, and create a used car event that this car would only be visible to people who watch the live stream. So instead of putting it on the likes of Auto Trader or their existing website, that it's only available via this live stream. So the salesperson would do a presentation on the car, and at the end of it, there's like an online booking facility so they could book a one-to-one consultation with the sales rep. And that gives you the opportunity then to measure how successful the live stream is, to then go off and do further similar activity. So these are the sort of things that we're sort of always trying to look at for our clients to see how we can be a bit more creative, but things that will actually work, that will deliver sales or deliver some sort of awareness for their brand.
Yes, because I think as well that when you have that event for the cars, for example, when you're watching something live like that, it makes it feel very exclusive. So you feel, oh, I'm very special, watching this live that other people can't access. Isn't it? It's all about that, as you say, the brand is where you are called Brand Enable. Excellent name for the business.
I'm just looking, someone's asking about multi-streaming.
Yes, I saw that. Yes. So what is your take on multi-streaming? Gail is asking.
Yeah, so multi-streaming, if you're referring to main social platforms or a dedicated app for an event, so I'm not entirely too sure, but I mean, I sort of touched on it earlier on when talking about our platform, that we can distribute that. We can multi-stream to a number of different social channels at once, and that's great because obviously you can reach so many different people at once. But I think the thing, like any sort of marketing, any person who is in professional marketing will always tell you to keep your audience as relevant as possible. Some businesses will, of course, lend themselves to just volume, so it is a numbers game for some businesses, but it really depends what sort of business sector you're in. So it could be a case that you may want to just focus on a single destination for your live stream because your audience is more relevant and you can target the customers exactly to what you need. And the other platform may be wasted. So, I mean, I think it depends on the individual circumstances of the business and, your objectives.
I think as well, funny, even with StreamYard, I think you can stream one channel, I think it is, for free. And then if you have the paid account, you can go, it's a couple at a time. And at the start, I kind of thought, when I do these interviews, should I also do it on YouTube? And my sort of reckoning for that at the time was, in any case, I'm downloading this afterwards and re-uploading to YouTube, so it was just to save some time. But sure. I think you're right. You really have to think about where your audience is and who you're trying to target and, make it as relevant as possible.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm just going to check if there's any more questions we have missed. Rachel asked, could she receive the recording? Yes. For anybody, well, I'll post that up afterwards. This will be available always on my Facebook page, so you'll be able to see it. So thank you very much, Chris. That was really, really interesting. And
oh, my pleasure, and thanks for having me, Alison.
Not a problem. And I'll put up the link to your website in underneath this post today as well. And as I said, it'll be up on the YouTube channel as well.
I'd be delighted to talk to anyone if they're even trying it themselves and they need some pointers, or they're looking to take on or explore, develop a project themselves. More than happy to have a conversation. But no, it's been great to chat, and thank you so much for everything, Alison.
Thank you. And next month, I'll just say next month I'll be joined by Stevie Jackson from Corporate AVR, and that will be we're talking about the audio side of things. So we've covered marketing, videos, live streaming, and next month will be audios, and that'll be about the same time in the middle of the month. So I'll post that up. But thank you so much for your time today, Chris. Thanks. And good luck for all your projects, and I'll post all the links up underneath to your social media platforms as well. Great.
Thanks so much. See you, Alison.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.